Good morning.
Call the meeting to order for the Wicomico County Council Legislative Session 2022-12 for June 14th, 2022. This is a special legislative session. I'd like to ask those who'd like to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to please stand. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Hurley, good morning.
Good morning, Council President, council members, ladies and gentlemen. This morning, we have Resolution 68, 2022 before you. This is to amend the 2022 operating and capital budget to increase funding to the death benefit account in the amount of $454,101 by transferring that amount from the contingency account.
Thank you, Mrs. Hurley. Entertain a motion from council to approve Resolution 68-2022.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion. Good evening. If you could, Acting County Executive, we'll start with you. If you could just state your name and your position for the public, and we'll go from left to right there. Thanks.
Soda, Acting County Executive, Wicomico County.
Charles Schmeckel, Acting Deputy Finance Director.
Major Todd Richardson, Wicomico County Sheriff's Office.
Jackie Curry, Human Resources Director.
Thank you all for taking the time to come in on short notice, and we're glad to work with you and oblige as far as however we may be able to do so. Mr. County Executive, would you leave?
Good morning. Thank you for
Parking downstairs.
echo those sentiments. Thank you very much for coming in and helping us resolve this particular request. Charles, if you want to explain the technical side of this, what we're trying to do is transfer funds from one account to the other to accomplish this goal in an expeditious manner.
So as I just passed out from our agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police, we have a benefit under Article 10, Section C, to pay the beneficiary $500,000. We currently have an account, the Term Life Death Benefit, that currently only has a $45,000 balance to it, and so we're asking to move the remainder of the funds from contingency.
Questions?
Just get it done.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Resolution 68-2022 passes. This time, thank you very much. At this time, we have a work session coming up. At this time, we open the floor for public comments. If anybody has any comments they'd like to make, come to the podium. Please state your name, your county of residence, and your concerns. Seeing none, that concludes the public comments. Any council comments?
I just wanted to offer my condolences to the officer, his family, friends, and colleagues. He paid the ultimate price for performing a service, and may he rest in peace.
Yeah, I think likewise, well said. And it's a tragedy for a lot of people, and it's going to take time, and everyone needs some space to heal and mourn, and very unfortunate.
Yes, I also want to offer my condolences, and I spoke to his wife last night at the vigil, and I was very impressed at the amount of people that came out to the vigil at the Delmarva Shorebird Stadium. And we had law enforcement officers from surrounding counties and all over the shore, and it was very impressive. So, thank you for everybody that participated and paid their respects.
Likewise, as far as condolences, I was at the press conference yesterday and the vigil. This was such an unnecessary death. I won't go into it right now about all the things that could have been done to cause this not to happen, but very unnecessary, and my condolences to the family and prayers for him in the future. So.
I echo the same sentiments. Condolences to the family, and as being an ex-police officer, I understand what the deputies are going through. It's like losing a family member, And we're all behind you, supporting you 100%, anything we need. And Godspeed.
Presidential comments, I would share the same. Condolences do go out to Deputy First Class Hilliard and his family, such a strong family. And I'd also like to thank so much the hundreds of people who came to the vigil last night at the Shorebird Stadium. I'd like to thank Doug Marshall and Jeff Merritt for taking the time and whatever expense there may have been. And Mission Barbecue, I think, played a role in that, as well as Walmart in supplying water. I hope I haven't left anyone out, but it was a great event. It was very worthwhile. I think the family was very pleased that there was so much support that we showed as a community. I know that this is a tragedy that we've experienced that I don't think we ever felt we were going to have to face in Wicomico County. But I think I saw last night, and in knowing the council that we have here today, the county and this legislative body will make certain that the citizens of Wicomico County and all of our men and women in law enforcement will have everything that they need. They'll receive our full support and the funding necessary so they can continue to do their job safely as they protect all the citizens in Wicomico County. That being said, entertain a motion to adjourn from legislation so that we can go into open work session. Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
John, I won't be able to stay for this. I got pressing matters to do.
All right, I appreciate you coming. I know
Nothing against-
Bill's on a tight timeline as well. If you would like to lead, Acting County Executive of Soda.
Yes. So using your statement, Mr. President, as a segue into the open work session regarding the health care benefits for service in the line of duty death, Jackie will flesh out some more detail on this. But basically, I wanted to bring to the council's attention that we're doing in a very generalistic discussion that we're having here without specifics. We're looking into contractual and cost analysis to see what we can do regarding health benefits for the surviving family of those law enforcement officers, what that definition might be, and what we can do in our current health care contract to take care of the survivors of a fallen law enforcement officer. Jackie, did you want to flesh it out a little bit more?
Yes. So this is a request to discuss the possibility of amending our personnel manual to include a death in the line of duty health insurance option of coverage continuation for eligible spouses and dependents for deceased employees not eligible for retirement. It would be in a non-active post-tax group that we already have in place that would offer that option to, again, eligible surviving spouses and dependents of employees that are not eligible for retirement. We currently, in our personnel manual, Chapter 10, under employee benefits, Section 1013B, death benefit, a deceased employee not eligible for retirement. So if a deceased employee was not eligible for retirement and continuation of benefits, the spouse and/or eligible dependents, if eligible, may retain their health insurance under appropriate and applicable state and federal laws, which means COBRA coverage. And if any of you are familiar with COBRA coverage, it's extremely expensive. It's the entire cost of the plan for that group, whether it be employee, employee spouse, employee child, or family coverage, which family would include any more than one child on the plan. So we do already have this non-active post-tax group in place, and this is a request to consider it to be an option for those deceased employees that are not actually eligible for retirement. Had someone been eligible for retirement, they would have this option to continue in this post-tax non-active group.
And just for clarification, being self-funded in our health care plan, we have the flexibility to make this consideration. Number one. Number two, also for clarification, we're asking to continue doing this contractual and cost analysis to see if this is something that, and to ask you if there is a consensus to continue on in this research.
The one thing that I wanted to bring out was that if Glenn had survived his injuries and had become disabled and unable to perform police duties and went out on a 66 2/3 retirement, he would have been eligible for the better insurance. So basically, the way this is written currently, he's being penalized for succumbing to the injuries. And I think that's something we need to adjust and fix.
But again, as a reminder, that's an example. We're talking generalistically here.
Questions from council? Joe?
I guess, is this referring to just police officers?
That's something that we're looking at, who the coverage would include.
You know, if we had a county roads employee get killed along the road, or you know, we had someone get killed a few years ago working out at the landfill that got electrocuted on the job. I mean, would this include them or not?
That's something that we're looking at.
So you're looking at
To
that?
include,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Anybody that's under the county employment and, you know, dies in the line of duty, whether they're corrections officer, a roads worker, or anything. Okay.
Currently, the family is covered until July 31st under
That year.
under his current situation. So if we can get this repaired before July 21st, or 31st, I'm sorry, that will help a lot.
So their family, Deputy Hilliard's family is only covered until July 31st.
Premiums are paid a month in advance.
Wow.
So in June, you pay the premium for July, for example.
But we're here for Deputy Hilliard and the Sheriff's Department deputies, but I'm open to discussing other line of duty deaths as well.
Again, just keeping the discussion generalistic.
And as I understand it, this would be, if we come to some resolution on this, it would be in the form of a resolution, not a legislative bill, which means we could act rather quickly. Am I correct? Mr. Wilbur?
Typically, personnel manual.
Mr. Wilbur, you can sit right there. I don't think our attorney will be in.
Typically, a personnel manual amendment is done by a legislative bill. Yeah.
So we would have a time frame where we'd have to have a public hearing, allow for that amount of time, and we should, I don't know whether or not fall under emergency legislation, Mr. Wilbur, but I guess the key is how quickly we could act if we chose to do so.
Right, that's an emergency. I think it would be tough to categorize it under the emergency category. We can look at that.
Okay. So at least we know what our guidelines are, which
Right.
means we'd want to try to expedite at least the first meeting by our next council meeting so that we can get started. So I don't know what time frame, what time restrictions you're under.
Certainly, if it's a two-reading situation, we'd want to do that in July to have it in place by the end of the month. But Jackie needs to do research.
Okay.
And typically, there is coverage to an end of a month or the succeeding month. So we can continue to do research, and I'm sensing that we have a consensus to continue to look into that.
Yeah, I definitely think, we need to move forward, but it sounds like we need some clarification between, because our verbiage and everything, this is addressing in the line of duty.
Correct.
But then, Jackie, when I hear you talking about the current policy, you're talking about any deceased employee, if I heard you correctly.
We're discussing
That's
this
not
in
eligible for.
general terms.
Yeah, that's not eligible for retirement. You said, so that's sort of two different. So as you said, I know you're working on it, so yeah, we need to sort of get that figured out, because that's a much broader category, obviously.
There's a consensus to move forward, to have them move forward?
Yes.
Correct. Okay. You certainly have that. So we appreciate you even thinking of this and taking these measures, and we look forward to seeing you again in early July. Okay? Everybody good?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
All those in favor? Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you so much for making this happen so quickly.
Thank you, Ms.